hugs for coming on in today. I want to say hi to the people who are live right now in the chat room. I have been reading your chats. You guys crack me up. And I also want to say hi to the replay players. I hope you can make a live event sometime because there's a really great energy in here. But you're going to love this painting one way or the other, whether you get to be here with us live or whether you come on the replay. Guess what we're going to do in a short amount of time? We're going to do the Mighty Birch. Look how foreshortening. Yeah, so we're going to paint that today. I guess I have to get that kind of out of the way so I can see it and paint it. So that is the painting we are doing. Maybe didn't show that too long enough, so John will pop that up.
Hold on, I can do that. Hold on. Let's see.
John will pop that up during our videos. In the voice you just heard in the studio, if you're very new here, that is my husband, John, and he is the tracker. He's a Sherpa tracker.
Something like that.
Something like that, because I apparently move around randomly. I'm like evasive. And he has all these cameras he has to follow me around with. We've got a palette cam and an up-close cam and, you know, then this picture cam. And it's just a matter of us trying to make sure you guys have enough information. And that's what this is all about, is showing you guys step by step how to do this. I'm kind of excited about this tree. It's been a real challenge, and I have to immediately shout out a thank you to Lindsay, the Frugal Crafter, because she, I was talking to her about the challenge of doing this, and she laid down in her front yard and took a picture of a tree for me.
That's pretty awesome.
It was super helpful. There was a whole bunch of them, and I was like, between that and the artwork of Anton, I was able to put this project together, and I don't think I could have done it without her. Also have to shout out the CAC. Do we have a CAC logo to pop up here?
We do.
Maybe. All right. Well,
we're saving it for the end. We could pop it up right now if you'd
Okay.
like.
Well, that's the Creative Arts Collaboration. It's a group of YouTube artists that have gotten together with the idea that we like to talk to each other and hang out and help each other out. And also once a month, we like to, there it is, throw up a themed collaboration. So you'll notice in the title, there's a hashtag. It says thankful for art hashtag. And you're like, hashtags don't work on YouTube. Why you have that there? Well, if you put that, YouTube, hashtags don't work on you. But if you take that word and you put it in the search bar, you're going to see a bunch of artists who've created artwork projects, tutorials, finished works, time lapses, crafts, scrapbooks, just everything under the clay, just everything under the sun, under the inspiration of what they're thankful for in art. So that's kind of an exciting thing. We'd like to call it a video art festival. So you've just stumbled into a video art festival. You didn't even know it. Guess what the cost of admission is? Free. John was supposed to say what?
I'm supposed to say what?
Yeah, I don't know. We're married a long time. You're supposed to go.
I'm supposed to be the interactive audience. See, I'm back here. I'm pushing buttons and switching things and making sure that the audience is there and the feed's right and the audio levels are good and everyone's got the feed coming through. And you're like, I'm supposed to be interacting with you too?
Yeah, you're superhuman.
Okay.
So
that's right.
That's my assumption.
I'll push a button. Look.
Push a button. Ooh, there's my lower thirds by the Chuck Carsons. This is what we do. We are not a speed activity. If you're new here, this kind of takes it. It's fun. It's energetic, but it's not super quick. But it's worth staying in because you're going to get the painting. You're going to have a painting you're proud of. We also have a sippy sippy today.
Ooh, what's a sippy sippy?
This is Swamp Pop.
Ooh, that looks good.
Who is just totally, I'm just like, I saw this. I'm going to hold it up to the up close cam so you guys can see this fantastic labeling.
Oh, yeah, you have to go.
Praline.
Praline.
And can I show you the cap?
Yes. Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, I thought this was a really cool thing. John's going to open this for me because I'm bottle opener deficient. We like to have a sippy sippy. Make your time in your art space special. You know, I think the Sip and Paints have a kind of a good idea, which is, you know, you bring your wine, you bring your friends, you have a good time, and you have a nice something to drink. Sometimes I have adult sippy sippy. But thanks to all these specialty markets, there's also some pretty good sodas and pops and things. So whatever you do, whether it's tea, I know somebody's got green tea pomegranate. I think that's Miss Carrie is drinking some green pomegranate right now.
I have some blueberry.
And she's like probably tripping out going, dude, she's stalking me. All right, materials. We're a little bit different today. We've got this 12 by 24 canvas. But what if you had a different size canvas, right?
Yeah.
What would you do? Well, I guess what I would do is if I had a really different size canvas is I would try to make sure the tree was in similar proportions and just add sky around the extra.
Ah, okay.
Is probably what I would do, and I would get a very similar effect.
Okay.
But if I took the branches all the way to the edge and tried to make it sort of squish and fit in, it would still be a cool painting. It just wouldn't quite give the same illusion. We're painting with acrylic paint today. You can paint with student paint. You can paint with pro paint. You can paint with craft paint out of a bottle. They all give you different results, but they're all valid. Just paint with the best paint your budget can afford, right? Because art is supposed to be fun. It's not a big frou-frou thing. You gotta have a good time. Our palette, that is the colors an artist paints with. Our palette today is Cadmium Yellow Medium. And you can save some money in the pro paints if you buy that in hue. All student paints are hue, if you guys didn't know that. All student paints are hues. They're generally a step down from the pro pigments. Phthalo Blue, Mars Black, Burnt Sienna, Dioxazine Purple, Cad Red Medium, and again it's hue, and Titanium White. And so yeah, there's a difference between the whites, right? The whites are not all equal. Titanium White is a very opaque, bright white and will give you bright mixtures. And Cads come in dark, medium, and light. Probably again, not in the student paints, but on the pro paints, you'll see that. So that's why I bother to give you that information. And I used to tell y'all a green shade on the phthalo, but only 2 paint companies do this whole green shade, red shade. Everybody else just calls it phthalo. It's just a whole hot mess. So, you know, it's phthalo blue. And then if you see this extra information, red shade, that's really ultramarine, and I don't know why they do that. Oh, John.
Like that, huh?
That is a really interesting taste. One of the things that we like to do on our canvases is wishes.
Oh yes, wishes.
Wishes. I know we don't go through this very quickly. Someone's like, is this the show? Yeah, this is the show, but it's worth it. Let us get through the wishes.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, you put a wish on. If you're brand new, I challenge you to do a wish, because here's the thing. You gotta feel optimistic. Optimistic that you can turn this blank canvas into a painting, right? Optimistic that good things can come into your life. Wishes can be big and profound and meaningful, or they can be silly and happy. You've got to just get back to a place. I think we all get stripped of our wishes by life a little bit. So I know we've got a wish for Miss Carrie, right? Well, I think she's got a multi-level wish here, which is one for willpower and strength and well-being. But I'm also wishing balance to Carrie's body. I think I'm going to wish balance. And then I know Mona's getting over a cold, so I got to wish that Mona gets well.
Yep.
And then I know we got to wish Kim a recovery. So we've got that. I want to wish... I want to put a wish out there for my mom.
Yeah.
Right? We've been having a wish. We haven't been able to see her very much lately. I want to wish that we can see Grandma Ginger on Sundays, but where she still has abundance.
Yes.
No loss of abundance. But we see her on Sundays because her grandkids are missing her. She works on YouTube too. So that's what we want. We want to see Grandma Ginger. That's a personal wish that we have because we're not getting to see her as much as we'd like to. I just saw her the other day and it was really, really wonderful. In general, we want to wish health and well-being and happiness to our community.
And I have a few when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. So Tori was just in an accident, and we'd like to put a wish for her. She's on the way to the hospital now, actually. So. Tori, we wish that you are okay. That her roommate is on with us now.
Okay, we're gonna wish that Tori is okay. That she's just miraculously and mysteriously more fine than anybody expected.
Yes, and I think that there's multiple calls for less pain.
Yeah,
less pain.
In general, in our community, I just think of the world right now. I'd like to wish for less pain. I think we could all just take a little break from pain. We all have pain.
Yes.
So, do we have another wish in there?
Oh, I'm scrolling through.
I know you guys have some beautiful wishes, and so we like to. I want to wish well-being and safety to all of our community members. Community member Miss J just recently contacted us, And I want to give you a background. Miss J is an American hero, right? She's a strong woman. She's trained. She's savvy. She's smart. And she married somebody that she loved, right? I think that's a story that many of us have, we understand it. But she was like a really powerful woman, and she got in there, and that really scary thing that happens sometimes in some relationships where it just went south. And, he started tearing her down. He started being really crazy to her. This really impacted John and I, and she gave us permission to share the story to you because I want it to inspire you. I want it to be a call to well-being to you. While painting the cardinal painting with the snowman for her mother, her husband pulled a gun on her because she wasn't spending enough time with him. And through painting and through finding her dream and finding her worth again, she absolutely stood up for herself. I want to say that she stood up for her children. She stood up for herself. She said no to the violence. She said no to that, even though there was love in her heart. I think that's a hard thing when we have love for somebody in our heart. Yeah. And she said, I love me too. And she left, and she's okay. And I'm going to put a wish for her. She has a particular dream, and I'm going to keep putting her dream on my canvas to have her school to help people, because I think she's a tremendous inspiration. And if you're in that situation, I want you to think of Miss J, and I wish for you the strength to say, you know what, I love you, but no. I love you, but no, because I love me too.
Yep.
So I'm going to wish that for her. That just blew John and I away, that somebody could have been painting the cardinal and have had that experience just completely. Because you imagine things when you're designing these, and I think about you guys completely, like what it'll be like to paint that curve, or what it'll be like to mix that color. But I had never imagined that in the process of just trying to create and share love, that something like that could happen. So I'm just constantly sending out well-being and light and love to you guys all over the world now. It's just something we do every day, isn't it, John?
It is.
Yeah.
It really is.
So sharing that with you. So I'm thankful that she's okay.
Yep.
And I'm thankful she shared, and I'm thankful that she's a light keeper, sending out that positive example of well-being. Do we have any more to put in before I start drawing in our tree?
I think that everyone's been sort of swept away by that. There was I remember seeing a couple wishes for healing hands for our nurses.
Oh, yes.
And we'll just put a good wish in there for the end of all domestic violence.
Oh, I like that. I would be thankful for an end to domestic violence.
I think that's just a good thing to put out there.
And I wish that somebody out here watching this sees this and picks themselves. Yeah. Says, no, I love you, but no. And is safe. I wish safety.
Absolutely.
So that was just something that really touched us, and we were really feeling that. Oh, and to you guys that sent art supplies to Crystal, we thought that was
thank you very much.
Amazing. All right, we feeling brave? We know we're artists. We know we can do this.
Yeah.
We're letting go of our doubts and our fears and our limited thinking, and we're letting our art in and opening our hearts so our art can get out.
We're gonna climb a tree today, huh?
We're gonna paint a foreshortened tree into the sky. Thank you, Lindsay, for the pictures again. So I'm going to say about a hand width in.
Okay, so let's get your close-up camera on there.
Let's get my close-up camera on.
And real quick, I'll pull up here so we can see what we're going to be doing today.
I've got to get it like dark too. I'm going to make my mark dark.
So
okay, that's what we're doing today.
There's our painting.
Right? That's what we're doing today. And actually, I had that picture. Thank you. I needed that too, because it's not actually hand width in. It's about 2 fingers in over here. I'm going to make a mark. 2.5 fingers. If you have giant fingers and you play basketball, as I always say, write me 4 fingers over this side, and I'm making another mark. Maybe 3 fingers. 3 to 4 fingers, which is, in technical terms, apparently about 1.5 inches and 2.5 inches. In technical terms. In technical terms. And then from the top, I'm going to put a break line. We like to talk about break lines. This is about 1 inch down. Break line. This is your stopping point. you're drawing, you're having a blast, you're loving it, and sometimes you forget to stop drawing and you take it to crazy places. So sometimes you constrain your space just to say, hey, I got to stop at some point.
Yep.
Now I'm going to, this is a very weird thing because this is such an illusion. Now you could do a straight tree coming up. Stephanie Bergeron did the most incredible tree she shared for me from one of her husband's photographs that I really, really loved. So I'm curving this up.
I'm gonna throw that picture up there again so everyone can see that in a second.
Let them see it as we're about to go, okay?
So here's what we're looking at.
I'm throwing this up. I'm drawing this up. I'm drawing and I'm kind of curving. I'm making a little S. And I'm about if this is the halfway point, I'm not quite at the halfway point. I'm sort of curving it in, and I may adjust this. This is a tree, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? And then I'm coming back out. And then I'm curving back in. And then I'm going here. And that's what I'm doing. And it's this sort of wavy line because this trees don't really grow straight. Now, this is an interesting part of the thing. And I might actually start at the top and work this down so I can get this as thin. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to make it, it's like a parallel line. And it's going to be very skinny up at this top part. And then it's going to kind of come out as the tree's coming down. And I'm following it, opening up this line. And then as I get down here, I get it really big. It's going to look really crazy, guys. Okay? It's going to look, and I might need to come back because I didn't open it up even enough. There we go. Notice how I didn't do it perfect, but I didn't freak out. I just redrew. Watercolor pencils, and you could be using chalk, will allow you to make little mistakes and adjust and redraw, and they're going to paint out into the paint because they're watercolor pencils. You could just use chalk too. I've got some little chalk here. You could use kids' chalk. You could just go raid your Crayola kids' chalk from your kids' room, and that would be okay. That would be just fine.
It's just not okay when they raid back.
No, they don't like it either. My kids are like, get out of my chalk. Buy your own art materials, Mom. Like, well, alrighty then. So I've got a brush for acrylic paint. It's about, if you haven't seen one of these before.
Move other way. There you go. Ta-da.
Wow, I just can't. I'm not getting picked up by QVC
Back
today,
up.
am I?
You have to back up. Take a step back. You just zoomed in too much, maybe. I don't know.
All right, can you guys get the sense what?
There it goes.
I'm always saying it's about a 1 inch. That's what I mean, because they put these little numbers on there, and then none of the numbers are actually, there's no standard for the numbers, and so you can't say, oh, I got a 20 in this brush line, but it'll be the same on a Simply Simmons, because it just won't. This is a creative mark. Any good Teflon fiber acrylic brush with a medium flick back, you just don't want it to be so soft, and you don't want it to be like a makeup brush. That's like a watercolor brush. You want this to be stiffer, closer to the brushes that you might run into at Home Depot. A little stiffer. Not makeup brush soft. I'm going to take a little of my Cad Yellow, and notice that I'm mixing from the outside. I'm not shoveling or scooping, and I'm going to take it over to my Phthalo Blue. And I'm going to just get a little bit of an aqua tone to my blue, so that it's not the bright blue. And then I'm going to come get a lot of white. A lot of white. And you're going to go through a lot of white on this painting. And that's too dark right there. So I'm going to get some more white.
Let's adjust your close-up camera there.
Let's adjust my close-up camera. Nausea cam. Okay. Is that really a good angle, or is that too much of an angle?
It's just, no, you're fine. All it is that this is a tall, narrow canvas.
Yeah,
so.
it's a crazy canvas. I apologize for this crazy canvas. But sometimes this is going to look really good. And once you do this, guys, you can go through. And some of you have already figured this out. I've heard this call already. Do fall, winter, spring, and summer. Mm. And you can do 4 of these, and it'll look spectacular. And, you know, those are expensive on Etsy when you see those.
Yeah.
You can also get inspiration. There's an artist I put in the link where I like to put my art materials and just, you know, links to anything that I've got going on, any extra information that you need. There's a link to an artist that I think is one of the best of the foreshortened tree artists. You know, don't copy his artwork, don't sell it online, but you can be inspired by what he's done. You know, and get ideas, because sometimes, you know, another artist can come in and break ground and help you go, oh, that's how I would do that. Because like the first time you go to do a foreshortened tree, and I might have over smalled my tree.
Did you?
I might have. And I'll know that as I'm painting it in. It happens.
It does.
It does. And you know how you fix it? With paint, I'll just widen it out. I just got to see it when I'm painting in, because it's like one of these crazy things.
Mona has caught on to the fact that I've got a head cold.
Mona has caught on to, yes, John does have a head cold.
I have to say that there's generally at least 2 or 3 good conversations going on in chat out here. So sometimes it's difficult because I may be
distracted by chat,
laughing and carrying on with what's going on in there, while also having to multitask with what's going on over here with you.
Yeah, I can see that. So coming up here, I might thicken this, maybe here. We'll see as I go up. Just a little bit, I might thicken that just a touch there. And I'll do that when I paint the tree in. So what this is we're creating the illusion of laying down on the ground and looking up. And normally when you're painting this, you would do this with a series of very complex lighting techniques, shadow, like shading, and you would also do it with compound curves. But that's a lot when you're a new artist. So John can tell you, I've been in the studio trying to figure out how to simplify this idea.
Yes.
And get an entry level, a starter place to this foreshortened tree concept, so that you guys have a place to begin with how you might possibly paint that.
Yeah. I mean,
you know,
I would be thrilled if I got a tree like this, even remotely done. I mean,
John actually is a very good artist.
but not at painting.
Who else in the room today?
Oh, wow. We've got over 60, we got almost 70 people in here today.
70 people in the room today. Hello, people.
And they're incredibly chatty.
They are. Is it PG-13 chat today?
Oh yeah. It has been. Oh,
sometimes we get quite a chat going, so not like anything rude, just funny. The jokes get a rolling.
Oh, they were earlier. I think Mark spent a few minutes in timeout.
Because they were like concerned Mark wasn't going to come, and then there was the whole zombies are at the bottom of the tree. If you're new here, Mark Muir, who also has a channel, Artsploration with Mark, he likes him a zombie. He's been with us a little while, and so we always have to imagine where Mark's zombie is, because he's in a perpetual Walking Dead episode. At which point the whole room explodes, because apparently the whole world watches Walking Dead.
Apparently.
It's just true.
Something we might eventually have to get caught up on.
I might. And then you're like shocked. You're like, but Sherpa, you watch everything. How did you miss The Walking Dead? Because I was watching Supernatural, okay?
We were watching Supernatural.
But now that there's a crossover, now that their dad's going to be on The Walking Dead, then I'm going to have to totally watch it.
What?
Well, just the actor.
Oh, okay.
But it's just funny. Somebody shared that with me. And I was
the
like,
Winchesters?
oh, well.
Wait.
Huh?
I was going to say, the Winchesters go where? That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I'd watch.
I would so watch a crossover Supernatural Walking Dead episode.
Yeah, I'd be there.
Dean in that universe, it would so work for me.
Absolutely. And Baby, just...
Yeah. Baby in the Walking Dead universe. You know, it seems like this series has gone on a long time for zombie apocalypse. John and I have mused quite a lot, so just so you can kind of see how this is looking, right? You can kind of see how this paint is going on here. I'm not really that crazy or specific about how I'm trying to get it in. I'm just trying to say there's this beautifully bright aqua blue sky, which is interesting because, you know, sometimes this type of sky can feel very cold even though it's very bright.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. When the weather gets cold, the sky can get quite clear.
Yeah, it's true. It does.
So we've got that in there. I bet the room exploded when we said Walking Dead. I'm surprised.
There was some chatting.
Some chat. There's some chat. All right. Now I'm going to have to block in my tree.
Okay.
Tree's going to take about 3 layers of paint. That's all you got to do. You want to show them the picture again?
Oh, sure. I'll pull that up here a second.
So notice how my brush strokes are curved on this tree. This is a big thing that we're going to try to do. So the first thing we're going to do is a very dark underpainting, but we're still, even though we're not even going to really see it, we're going to start laying in that curve. Start thinking about the roundness of the trunk, right? So I'm going to rinse out my brush because there's a little bit of white on there. And I want to start thinking about my color mixture at ahead of time. And I'm going to take a little of my phthalo blue over to my burnt sienna, which will gray it out. And add a little white to that. So it's quite dark and grayed out. And this is the base I'm going to be using for my trunk.
You want to pull it? Let's
Yeah,
pull
I'm
it
going to bring the
bit.
camera
Yeah.
down. Thank you, John. I'm going to bring this camera. Maybe I need to zoom this
You're okay.
out
Yeah, you're okay.
the other way. Here.
All right.
So you can see a little bit. So what you're going to want to do is, as you're painting this in, create your boundary, create your bound by coming along the line, painting the outside. All right, so you're painting the outside to create your bound, your border. And you can even come along this. And you may be adding to that. Like I might have to add to my trunk in this one spot to get the correct thickness. You know? And so once I have the bound, then I can start, see how I'm curving this line here. Can you see that, John?
Absolutely.
So this starts to tell me something about my space. Implied line was one of my favorite things in art school. John will remember this because we were dating in college. Do you remember that, babe?
Oh, I do.
And Sean took a bunch of art classes so he could spend more time with me.
Who wouldn't want to go spend time in an art studio with a pretty girl?
Well, now see, I love you forever. You're just my favorite, John. Okay. I'm going to have to kiss you off camera because that was really sweet. See, he does stuff like that. And that's John's charm and magic. All right, John has adjusted something. And I'm sure everyone in the room is going, "Ah," because I'm going, "Ah." By the way, to Amy Torres, I don't know if she's in the room today. I don't know if she'll watch later. I'm going to be saying it a lot. If you guys saw my happy mail, my love mail that came in, my heart mail, she made me a blanket. It was a Doctor Who blanket.
It's an awesome blanket.
And I have been under it since at night watching TV, and I don't even let anyone else in the family get under it.
It's true.
I'm like, it's my love blanket. You can't. No.
It's Sherpa loot.
It is. It was just, it really, really made my day, and I've been wearing it, and we've been really, really enjoying. Hijinks sent us some stuff, and I really love that. John was super into the paper clips.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to kind of battle him for the paper clips that she made, which was like one of those fun things. And we just really enjoyed all of that and all the handmade stuff in the box and the salt and pepper shakers, which again are my dinner shakers. No, the kids were really into those too, so. All right, so I'm feeling like I'm gonna just add a little. Listen, you can add, you can take away.
You know, pull the camera up there a little bit.
Right, you can add, you can take away as you're painting. Like if you feel you over thickened your trunk, guess what you can come back with? You can come back, make sure I kind of, even as I'm bounding this up, watching those implied lines, trying to create that round. It just will remind me, is it important? Could I have painted it in just straight and messy in any way I wanted to? Yes, but it will help me later remember that that's what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
You know, it will help me later remember that that's what I'm doing. And I feel like I'm okay with this trunk, so I'm just going to leave it alone and see how it works out. Because pretty much anything that's wide and gets crazy narrow like this at the top will start to look like a tree. It's one of these. I experimented with experiment. The experiment. I hope somebody will go by and say thank you to Lindsay for the tree pictures. Not that. Oh, she's got a live class tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be there, but this won't make sense later that information will only be relevant. I guess I better iCard it then.
We'll iCard it. We'll put a
We'll
link.
iCard it so people who are watching in the far, far future who are like, Lindsay had a class, could then go see it. Because I forget that this isn't just up for today.
You mean like right now in the far, far future?
No, like a year from now, if somebody watches this tree and I'm like, Lindsay has a class on Friday.
Right.
Right.
See, that'd be like a year from now, but it'd be like now if they were watching.
Okay. I'm looking for sometimes I get in here and I'm looking for a 1/2-inch brush.
What do you okay.
And I think I'm going to do a filbert. Filberts are rounded brushes. They are rounded at the tip. I'll do it right here. I'm doing the Bunny Meyer hand things I've learned from Bunny Meyer. Put your hand behind what you're showing.
Because it makes the camera focus.
I've learned to be myself. And I learned sippy. So I owe that girl forever and ever and ever. She's fine. She's good. She's gold. I'm at her. She's like light and love and all those things. Just surround her all the time. So now I'm going to start putting in my leaves.
Yes.
Right? And the first thing I'm going to do is I wanted a deep tone. So I'm going to take a little of my Dioxazine Purple. And I really didn't need to put out as much as I did. You could put out a lot less. And I'm going to mix a nice dark warm red. Right? It's a nice dark warm red. And I'm going to start, and this is again implied texture.
Where are you going?
I'm coming up here and I'm going to just zoom in a little bit so we can just see it. And I'll start at the top, right?
Yep.
I'm going to come and I'm going to do these dabs. Now, mostly this will be solid, and you might need to come down neat along your tree just to make a nice, but we've got several layers. This is again several layers of paint. And I'm going to, here's your trick. The Jackie Chan. I want you to call on the Jackie Chan. And maybe ask Bob to come in too and help you out. But call on the Jackie Chan and pull in your inner drunken monkey, because sometimes you got to be a drunken monkey on the canvas. Sometimes you got to just stumble around and break up patterns, right? That's like the whole point of that martial art, is to break up the patterns and, you know, not have uniform, crispy, happy shapes. So this is what I'm trying to do. To the degree that I can do this, and I'm just dabbing this down, right? Now there's a really cool artist I looked at. We may or may not, if we feel like we need to, experiment with their technique as well, which is just dots. They did these tree paintings with dots, these perfect little smudgy dots. And I've been thinking that that might be kind of fun. We might actually do a seasonal one of that, because I like the idea of taking those stampers and making the dots. But this is just sort of that basic idea that I'm putting this down. I'm pulling in my inner drunken monkey, right? Gonna take this in. Now at the trunk, I don't need to be as worried about this. I can work this brush right up to the trunk. But then as I come out here, I'm definitely, you're gonna wanna let some of this blue sky peek out. Here's your work. Here's your art journey challenge. Is can you find little spots that sky could peek out? What am I doing? You're just, okay. I'm like, am I doing it wrong? John's helping us. Kiss. It's a studio tax. John comes in the studio, I get a kiss. It's studio tax. That's actually true when we're setting up. When we're setting up, John comes in the studio, there is a studio tax. I don't know if y'all tax your husbands, but I tax mine. He has to do the studio kiss. So here we're going. Do we have, is Maricha in today, John?
You know, I have not had a lot. I haven't seen
feeling
her
like
yet.
Audie, if you're here, Audie feels like sometimes she comes and you forget to mention, or.
Well, no, what it is that I don't always associate the screen names with the people who I may have met on Skype or in chat elsewhere, and you know, because I see a lot of the same names come through, but I don't get to participate as deeply in the conversation, so it's sometimes harder for me to put context around all of the everyone. So, I'm
He's working it
I'm
out.
trying to it's just because I'm multitasking,
He's multitasking. He's got a lot going on. I've got that happening here. You can kind of see where it's building in. It's, there's a lot of building to do. We're building, guys. We're building. We're building the leaves of this tree, and we're telling our story. Calling in. I wonder if Jackie Chan thinks it's weird that he's now also part of painting technique.
I think he'd probably be pretty happy about that.
I think probably so too, but I don't really expect him to get this far into YouTube.
No, but now that would be the funniest thing.
Oh, that would be the funniest thing that ever happened ever in history of weird, funny things that could happen.
You have to wonder if, what must be weird is for some young YouTuber out there to have some super famous person be a fan of theirs.
Yeah.
That's got to be.
That has to have happened.
Yeah,
though.
I'm sure.
That has to have happened. So, if, you're, famous on YouTube, but Robert De Niro follows you, does that mean you have to go meet him for lunch? Would that be weird?
Well,
make sure you guys are leaving little holes in your tree for the sky to peek out.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, if you somehow accidentally paint out all your holes, you can always put them back in with the same mix of yellow, blue, and white. Just in case you did not know that. Now, as I'm going down, I'm letting the mix start to become a little more red with a little less of the purple in it.
You need to pull your camera down there just a little bit.
All right. Pulling my camera down.
And I like all the little holes that you made there. Those do look really cool.
Yeah, you got to have them because that starts to tell the story of this tree. So you're laying down in the tall, cool grass of your mind, right? This is the world that you're building. And you're looking up at this perfect fall birch tree. How cool would that be?
Pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome. I think so too. You put too many holes in, you can always paint them out as you add the lighter and lighter colors. Right? And leave some space for these lighter leaves to be filtering out. You're just building up this dimension. A lot of painting is the layers. John's been talking to me about that lately, how he's been fascinated by how much of painting is just about.
Well, it's not just, but.
Yeah. But it's so much about getting those 3 layers, 2 layers, the layers of paint in.
Yeah, you want to pull that down?
Yeah.
Your camera down?
I will pull it down. But I will lift your spirits up while pulling the camera down. Because we want to keep our light keepers light.
Yeah, it was really funny. I was looking up at the clouds yesterday and really noticing how there were lots of layers of light in the clouds. And
yeah. Is that weird when you start to break down how something is constructed on canvas?
It's kind of weird, yeah, to see it that way.
That's literally, if I'm in a mind-numbingly, horribly boring place, how I get through. I'm in the post office and the line is really, really long. I know the postmaster is not going to help me and all the stuff is going to be happening. I start painting stuff that I'm seeing in my mind. How would I mix that weird putty color the lockers are? How would I, somebody has some crazy colored paints and I try to catch the light. I'm just so entertained.
Wow.
I feel so bad for other people who don't paint in the post office line. Because I'm having a different experience. I am. So I'm pulling this down. Does this need to come back up? Bend over. Up and over. So we love our up-close cam so we can really share this with you. And I love that we get to share the full lessons. And I really love the support you have given us about the full lessons, because we really held that belief by ourselves for a long, long time. And all the powers that be that knew anything about anything on YouTube just kept saying, only 13-year-olds on YouTube. By the way, I think 13-year-olds are awesome. If you're 13, you're awesome. Nothing wrong with being 13. Everybody had to be 13 at one point. But the idea being that they were just like, nobody wants, you know, hour-long, 2-hour-long lessons. You got to figure out how to get it down under 20 minutes, 8 if you can do it. I'm just like, I just don't think I can teach anyone to paint in 8 minutes. I could show painting. I could show how I can paint in 8 minutes.
Well, I mean,
if people would like to see that I can paint in 8 minutes. However exciting I guess that would be.
And you know, we're having a good time with our pacing.
You know, but it has been nice because we've been really, really supported. And I have a friend, Melody Lane. She's a Cricut expert. John, what is a Cricut? Is that really cool paper cutter that cuts out all those crazy shapes? What is it called, John?
The Cricut.
Yeah, no, but it's like a CNC. It's a die cut. What is it? It's like a piece of machinery.
Yeah, it's a CNC desktop plotter.
Yeah, right. So it's a serious piece of equipment, and I guess every time they come out with a new thing, you've got to learn some new video. You got to watch a new different video to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to her. She'd spent like weeks putting together the ultimate guide. Ultimate guide. To the Cricut.
Yep.
It's 2 hours. It had like something like 1,000 cuts in it. And if you use this, then you can watch just one video and know how to use all the Cricut stuff. And I'm just like, these people should so pay you mad cash for this. Because, like, I have to tell you, we have a Cricut that we thought we'd like to, I don't know, make butterflies with, or I don't know, some project I thought I wanted to do. And then John had to go get some degree in engineering to make it cut anything. And at some point we were just like,
Yep. But the new Cricuts are much easier. I was an old Cricut.
Yeah, but if you go by Melody Lane's YouTube channel, 2 hours, I'm almost hopeful about the Cricut.
Yeah.
My friend Ian, too, is a Cricut expert.
Yeah. Yeah, I've recruited Ian because I'm just like, no, I can't do the time commitment.
The off-kilter crafter
He's like,
has been recruited to truck design for John. So we're going to let that dry, and we're going to start putting in our next layer of our tree.
You want to pull the close-up camera down on that?
I am. I'm going to pull the close-up camera down.
Maybe zoom out a little bit.
Yeah, that would be this way.
There
All
you
right.
go.
So we're going to start putting this in. Now, I have made an arbitrary decision, and kind of based on the picture I got from Lindsay, which I'm going to put the shadow on this side, and the highlight kind of here, and then a highlight up the middle.
All right.
The wiggly fingers actually help me explain this. It's a very important part of this, and I feel like I'm going to do this with a stiffy square brush.
Is that a technical?
Yeah, it's a technical. I'll probably do a lot of this with a stiffy square brush. So this is a bright. It's a natural bristle. The natural bristles, I don't know if you can see this. They're made from I think a hog hair. That's what it is, but I'm not really thinking about this. And they're just a little bit stiffer. They just pull the paint and they give you a really strong brush stroke. So sometimes you wouldn't want that, but for something like this, you would really, really want that. And I'm going to add just a smidge, a small amount of my black over to my brown. And you're like, but wait, we never, ever, ever use black. But in this one particular case, we're going to be using some black. Because whatever rule any art teacher ever tells you in the history of any art teacher, they're going to have some other place they break that rule. And that is just art. That's how painting goes. That's how painting goes.
So some of our community was saying how much they liked your hat.
I made my hat.
Did you make that hat?
I made my hat. I might even add a little yellow to my mix here.
Don't move though, because we're gonna look at your hat.
Okay. I'm adding a little yellow to my mix because I want a little yellow cast. You could do yellow ochre too. So this is my dark side. My dark side.
All right, show your hat off real quick because everyone wanted to see it. That's pretty cute. All right. Woo. All right. Thank you very much for showing off the hat. Oh, it's got little baubles on it too.
Little things you learn.
That's another Sherpa hobby is hats.
It is. I just now have a justification for it.
It's true.
So I'm going to come and I'm going to make sure that I am arcing my paint. And it's nice that it's not like perfectly mixed. So I'll make sure I've got a nice edge here using a straight edge on my brush, and then arcing about halfway across this tree. Arcing halfway across this tree, sort of like an eyebrow stroke. A little this, put a little brown, a little yellow in there, scotch white. And I'm going, now I may have to switch to a smaller brush as I go up this tree.
And you know, our community has just sung up. We're over 80. Colleen.
We're over 80?
Yeah.
Not 80 people.
Hello.
And people in the future, we play people you catch too.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So if you need to switch to a smaller brush as you go up, just be aware of that. I'll probably push it too far because I always do. I have to do that. I have to push it too far. That's where my kids get it.
Wait, adjust your close-up camera.
Adjust my close-up camera. Thank you, Mr. Cooney.
There it goes.
So I'm coming up here. And you can see where very quickly it could get to be a problem, this brush. I'm not adding water to this.
Are you dry brushing?
I am dry brushing.
Interesting.
Dry brushing, Mr. Cooney. I'm dry brushing. Up here in the woods, we dry brush. Get a small...
Wow, you just sort of went off the reservation there.
Sometimes I get lost in the silly voice.
And this is why we need puppets.
It's true. All right, so I'm going to keep going. Coming up, coming up, coming up. And I'm just keeping that arc going. And I'm going to have to come with some, you know, and if you need to add some more yellow to that, just yellow it out. You could use ochre, like I said. Just putting that in. And you know, it can take even a smaller brush up here to work that.
You want to go ahead and pull that close up in there so we can see that. That was
more even. Yeah, it can take even a smaller brush when you get up there. Now I'm going to get right into my white, but I'm not rinsing my brush. Just arcing it back. Same arc, other side. See, same arc, other side. Unrinsed brush. It's nice to keep this white off white and we're layering these whites because when we do the little dancy dancy skip highlight, that's what will help give the tree some dimension. And we're going to need to give this little tree some dimension. You need to clean your edge there, clean your edge. And what I mean by that is make sure you have a nice crisp paint edge. You know, if you're looking at this and you're like, as you're shading it, you're thinking, I need to widen this tree right here. You can come in and widen that tree or thin that tree with red. If it needs to be thinned right there. However you need to balance out what you're doing, you can do that. Now that I'm in this area, I can get back into my bigger, stiffer brush.
There was just a question in here about brushes. Let me see if I can go find that.
Oh, okay. Happy to answer brush questions.
Yeah. Let's see here. Are there any brushes that you would suggest that artists stay away from when they're first starting out? Just so they're not overwhelmed.
I have bought some economy brushes, and I picked them up at Michael's, and I think they might have been Artist Loft, and all the bristles fell out.
Ooh.
So sometimes when the brushes, like Simply Simmons won't do that to you, but sometimes on a weird brand of brush, and so then they just shed all over your canvas. All over your canvas, and it's not a fun feeling.
Yeah, you would pull your
and
close-up
don't
camera
use
down.
watercolor brushes or oil brushes on your
Close-up
acrylic, acrylic painting. Some oil brushes you can, but in general you want to, again, as your budget allows. There's some mixed media brushes for the Stormtrooper skull. I got some, did a sponsor video for a company that had mixed media brushes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Lindsay.
To Lindsay, thank you for the tree, Lindsay.
Yeah, we're painting your tree right now.
Well, her tree was green. I have taken artistic liberties and followed her tree up.
It's funny. I like how red it is right now.
Yeah, it's at a fun layer. It's fun to layer these up. So that's what we're doing. We're just arcing that stroke. That's really just, this is your big thing to practice on this one, is just see if you can create that implied line and arc that stroke. And it's a hoot. It's relaxing. You should enjoy it. Right? You
Pull
should
your
enjoy
close
it.
up there, yeah. Pull your close-up camera up there.
All right. Let's see how we're going. Let's see if we can see this all close up. I'm going to take you on a trip up the tree. So see, just by arcing that stroke, and I mean, I'm not being real particular. I'm not being like real crazy. It starts to create this.
I've got that pulled up for you, Cinnamon.
You know, there you go. Right? And if you're overly dark, I feel like I'm a little overly dark. You can come back up. You can make adjustments anytime you need to. And you can come back and adjust. If you're like, oh, that shadow's too much. Just the important thing is keep the stroke. Keep the stroke. Don't lose it. And if you're like, oh, I want to have it more light over here, just grab some more white. And you come over here as we get, I'll pull it back down. And just keep that stroke. That's the thing. As you're playing with shaping your tree, play with just keeping the stroke. As to the degree that you can keep this brush stroke, it will get you through. So you just got that in there. And guess what? We get to do some fun color stuff now.
What's
and
that?
We'll be back into our filbert again.
Yay.
Our filbert.
Big one or the little one?
The little half-inch filbert. And I'm going to pour some more of my... This is not sponsored. I just found this at Cost Plus Market, my Swamp Pop. And who doesn't want to drink something called Swamp Pop? It called to me. I have to say it's much less chemical-y than the Hello Kitty was.
Yeah.
I get really lost in that Cost Plus Market. Gets to be a thing. I should Periscope from there. It's a problem for me. So now I'm going to get a little of my red and take it over my yellow and make an orange.
So what do you think about Masters touch brushes?
I have not, I've played with them and I have not had them shed on me.
Oh, okay. But not something you use regularly?
No. The truth is, the creative marks are expensive, but Jerry's runs these insane sales all the time. So suddenly they're cost competitive to Simply Simmons and Masters Touch. And I'm like, if it's going to cost the same or less, and I'm not kidding, I like this brush, like normally retails some crazy amount, like $35, but I got it for $3. And at $3,
well,
I'm like,
I think it was $6, but
no, they're like, okay, maybe it was $6.
Yeah, I think that one was $6.
Super
but
cheap,
still,
though.
super cheap. Yeah.
Super marked down when they run those sales, and I just save up a little sort of emergency brush fund.
Yeah.
And then when they're running a sale, I run down there like a crazy person.
Yeah, I mean, for $20, you could walk out with a grip of brushes.
A grip.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start pulling this in my nice little orange here, coming around these outer edges, a little bit into the tree. We're layering into the tree, but mostly I'm going to be on the outer edges. And I'm going to maybe even come up into the sky. And I'm pulling back into my inner Jackie Chan. Listen to your inner Jackie Chan. That is key. Jackie Chan will help you paint. See, a few kung fu movies and you should be able to do anything. Oh, seriously, Chinese brushstroke art is like insanely cool.
Yes.
Insanely cool. I really dig the parks with the elderly people that do the script.
Yes.
And it's like in water, so it disappears. That's like, this one got a little darker on me, and that's okay, it can. And I'm gonna pull this here, but I'm leaving some of this dark here, because I'm gonna come back maybe with some red, or, you know, you wanna leave some of that showing through. We're gonna brighten this tree up a lot, but you want some of it showing through. And it's okay that sometimes when you mix your orange, it's a slightly lighter orange, and sometimes when you mix your orange, it's a slightly darker orange. We're going to come and overall lighten up our tree to more of a gold, but it's these undervalues that I think pull the story together. And I just like this.
Oh yeah, I like the colors a lot.
It's not like one of these super fast, like crazy fast in and out projects, but you know, you want to throw up the tree again so they remember what the heck they're working for when they're getting all tired in here.
Sure, I'll pull this back.
Thank you so much.
I'll pull back to this camera, and actually, if you'll just step back, you can let them see.
Yeah.
There's that.
There's that. So that's where we're at right now.
We're looking really close.
No, this is it's just layers, and it's super fun layers. Trust me, when you guys post this up, you are going to be like really, really thrilled with people's reactions to it. But share it with us. Share with me. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. It's, you know, there's little quickie links on my banner thing on my YouTube channel, so you can find me easy peasy. And even if I can't answer a question, you know, or say something in response to every single post, I try to like it, and I do see it. John can verify. I get in here every day.
Yep.
And look at everything.
So I'm going to take a stab at the name. Shubi was asking about paint layers.
Yes.
And so I believe she was saying that she gets her first layer of paint in, and then when going on the second layer, finds that the first layer is lifting and coming off with it. What can she do?
Yeah, that is, so what has happened is that for whatever reason, sometimes it's the brand, sometimes it's adding too much water, there's a whole bunch of reasons, none of which are you. The polymer in the paint is not holding. It's not bonding down, and it's lifting up. There's one company that for some reason switched out to fruit dyes. But that was a whole big fun ball of wax. So if you're seeing that and you're like, I'm really nailing it, but it's not holding down, a trick that you could do, and they now have it in a student grade, you go by Artist Loft and get their gel medium. And you could gel down the layer and then keep adding up if you had to. If you couldn't get into a new bunch of paints right now and you're just trying to stabilize it, a spray varnish, any fixative that would hold the layer down. But what it is for either too much water into your paint, or the paint itself, the binders they cut corners on the binders.
Gotcha.
Is what I've been finding it to be. You know, and it's just a frustrating thing that can happen. It happens to me, and you know, not so much if I'm painting a pro paint, but whenever I'm getting into either an off-brand paint, if I'm testing that, or if I'm getting into a student paint, one of the things that's been frustrating me with the student paints is, like on the blacks, they don't stabilize the polymers, and then the black lifts up during varnishing. Really annoying. And then you have to spray varnish. And I can't spray varnish.
Yeah, I can.
John can, and he has to then. If spray varnish is required, John has to do it because I can't get near that stuff. I just start to spin and get sick and throw up. That was a lot of what slowed down my woodworking.
Yep.
I used to be really bananas into woodworking.
And painting giant shoes.
And painting giant shoes. I like monolithic, sculptural fiberglass pieces. It's really fun for me to do. But some of it I just couldn't do anymore because I can't be around CA glue.
Yeah.
Which is like the best stuff on earth. It's actually not the CA glue, it's the stuff that cures the CA glue.
Right. So,
not that any of you care about woodworking. This is not that show.
So Mona was asking about the orange you're using.
Yes.
Which one are you using there?
So I've got Cad Red Medium and Cad Yellow Medium, and that is making this really fantastic orange. If you're really struggling with oranges, Cad Orange is pretty awesome.
That's what she was asking. Can she just use Cad Orange?
Yeah, you can.
That's just what that is?
Totally can.
Okay, cool.
Totally can. Now here's the only thing I'd say is even if you're using Cad Orange, go ahead and mix different tones or values to it because it's important that you build that up. You don't want your leaves to be singly dimensional.
Yeah.
See, like this is a very deep dark orange over here for some reason that I got going. But that's good for my painting. That's good for the feeling and the painterly quality of what I'm doing. I love how there's this whole part where the hot mess is in your favor. Wouldn't it be great if just leaving dishes in your sink made your kitchen prettier?
Yeah. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, like if you just threw stuff around your kitchen, then it just felt rustic.
If only it worked that way.
Only. I am not brilliant at the cleaning portion of my life. I have to tell you right now. So.
That's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. We can't be all things all the time.
We just paint.
We just paint.
And push buttons, apparently.
We just push buttons. Oh, speaking of, now that I'm thinking of it, while I'm shouting out, since Miss Lindsay did lay on the ground.
To take the picture for you.
Take pictures of trees. And I'm like, I got blue bonnets and some cows nearby. But, if you needed one. But she went to her national park. I don't remember the name of the national park, and maybe she'll shout it out if she's still out and about. And she did a really cool lesson that would complement this lesson on birch trees in acrylic paint.
Ooh.
So you could literally be birch up your house if you needed to.
That'd be awesome.
And she went and she was like, there's photographs and there's a whole study done and she's a blog post and there's that whole process, which is
we
really
can iCard that.
Huh?
We can iCard that, can't we?
I should have before I did this lesson, and I was just crazy this morning.
But we can do it after, yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it after so you can find it. I'm gonna put some of the CAC collab stuff in there, but I'll throw Lindsay's birch trees up, just simply because, well, laid on ground, and and also because I think the paintings would go.
It looks like it's Acadia National Forest or National Park.
Acadia National Park. I haven't been there.
Nope, me either.
I have not been there. You go down to Lindsay's end of the world a lot, John, but I do not. Because you've got to go, John's got to go to New Hampshire and New York and hit all this East Coast stuff pretty regularly.
I like to when I can.
He does. He gets to see that. Little known fact about me, I stalk Amish people. That's true, I do. It's been a lifelong problem. I get really starstruck.
It's so weird.
But you remember we were in the Bass Pro Fishing shop and I couldn't stop and you were like, stop. And I'm like, I can't.
Just want to ask them questions about their life.
I just follow them everywhere they go. What are you shopping for? I did not like the Breaking Bad Amish show. That was really messing with me. I like my traditional, I guess, Amish thing. So, weird thing, weird we all have weird little ticks. That's my tick.
There you go.
It doesn't get, you know, I'm in Houston, so it doesn't get activated a lot here. But East Coast could be a problem. That'd be a weird bit of news.
So it's very funny. We have PBM has made me laugh because they asked, "What is my job?" And, my job.
What is your job?
To do this.
To do this. No, I mean, John has a job.
I do?
Well, it's sort of associated with this.
Yeah, guess.
For the app and everything.
Yeah,
so,
I do.
yeah.
I make software sometimes.
Yeah.
I help other people make software
Back
a lot
in
more.
the day, John came up in video games, the video game industry, and he's made a bunch of games y'all have probably played, or your kids have played.
A couple games.
Huh?
A few games. There's a few games.
Few games. Look at that. It's so orangey.
That's so orangey.
Orangey. And I love this
All
blue
orange
and
in
this
there.
orange because they're complementary colors, and there's just a whole bunch happening here color-wise that I really, really dig. It makes me happy. Do the Martha Stewart. It's a good thing.
Absolutely.
It's a good thing when you have a bunch of like college minions that do all your art projects for you. That's a good thing. And I have no feelings on Martha at all.
I want to throw this up here and let that. We'll see where we're at.
Okay, let's see where we're at. So we're coming along.
Yeah.
We're doing really good. I like that. That is really good. You know, I was reading something and I want to say something. So I love that there's this whole art renaissance happening, and sip and paints are opening up, and social art working places, and that they have all these programs and people can go paint and they can discover that they loved art. But I just want you to think about something with this, is that so they've got to have a teacher in, and that teacher can be there for 2 to 3 hours, and they have this sort of beginning and end of the experience that they kind of have to be a business. And the reality of art is people have very different painting speeds. There isn't like a set sort of like when you get there you'll paint real fast. People have different painting speeds. A friend of mine, Tom Dubois, who's famous for Hosanna. You've probably seen it in all the like frame shops. He's a really well-known hyper-realistic religious artist. He'd be slow, real slow. Takes him a long time. You know, he doesn't work it fast. It's not that he can't, he just doesn't. That's not his pace. He likes to sit into a painting. He likes to deep into a painting. Whereas my mom and I are like, give me the paint, got to do this mural, got to go. Right? We have this one speed. And so when you guys are out there in the world and you're looking over at your friend who's like cooking along, just know there's not a speed component to art unless you've joined a speed art game.
Yes. That's why we have this up on YouTube, because
Yeah.
you can pause, fast forward, rewind. Even here live, you can pause us and rewind and just come back live. But and you know,
It's true.
if you're going to be clicking buttons anyway, if you wouldn't mind sharing us, making a comment, hitting that subscribe button.
If you're at it anyway.
If you're going to push some buttons anyway.
If you're doing it anyway.
And you know what's amazing is we've got 90 people out there with us today, right now watching. Hi, 90.
people. And replay people.
And replay people. We got over like 110 thumbs ups.
Get out.
Isn't it awesome?
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I'm trying to find a stiffy square, but all my squares that I have here are kind of softer than I would like, but I'm just going to use... Here, this one's fairly stiffy. So that's it. Like, think of makeup brushes. A makeup brush would be really too soft to paint acrylics with, right? You know, but you wouldn't want to use your husband's wire brush for cleaning things.
Yeah.
So it's like finding that space between those two cleaning processes. I'm going to pull out a little white, and I'm going to kind of tap it on my little brush. You know,
Yes.
do a little tap of it. And I'm going to come over to this white and pull it out. And I've got this sort of nice, it's softer than a ducky yellow is what it is. And I'm going to, right here in this curve, I'm going to come along, running on the edges of my bristles.
Look at that close up in there.
I'm going to get my close up in there. I just so love that you remind me to do this. And I'm going to pull this out like this. Now, I'm going to do what I did with my leaves, which is I'm going to make sure that I don't make I want to break up my patterns, right? You're picking up the secrets of animal camouflage. Break it up here. All right. Just breaking that up.
You have to put your camera down a little more there.
Yeah, I'll pull my camera down. So there's this sort of ducky yellow, and then I'm going to come back with some white. But the ducky yellow, lighter than a duck though. Lighter than a duck. Just adding a little of this is a very nice, it's just saying that there's this sort of warm light. What we're talking about here is really a warm light. You know, and I'm trying to make sure that I've got this nice warm light created in this space, right? Maybe.
I'm going to come grab that camera. You keep
I'm
going
gonna
all
do it.
over the place.
I'm sorry, I know I am today.
No, you're fine.
Moving up the tree.
You just keep moving.
I do. Maybe a little spot here, and I break up these spots up in the tree. I'm gonna break up the spots a little bit. You know, break up those spots like just a little bit. You know, and I feel like I want to shave this down. It's been bugging me.
Yeah?
Yeah, so I'm making this little light line, just trying to see, because I can paint it out really easily if I feel like I'm wrong, and then go back with, just, yeah.
You like that better?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, I feel like I like that curve. And that's just something that your art brain will start to tell you. Listen to your art brain on occasion.
Could you show us how to do that? Just because I think that the audience may really like to know how they could fix that if they wanted to.
So I realize I've got this curve, and I don't like it. I don't feel like it's the soft curve that I need to have, and my art brain is bugging me about it. It's like a tickling at my head. We'll call it like a spidey sense. And so I will take a light color that I know I can easily paint out or change my mind about again. You could take chalk, and I just make a little test curve, and then can I see it? And I go, oh yeah, I like that better. And all I've got to do is get back into my orange. This is why I love acrylic painting. Nothing in life is permanent in acrylic painting. You can just paint it all out. And I wonder if everyone else will see what I'm seeing here. And it's just, it's a weird little adjustment, but sometimes things bug me. And I have to fix it. It's insane. That's all that is.
Yeah, just took it right out.
Just took it right out. Now it's visually gone, and I can be like, oh, okay. And then I'll pick up my little brush of what I was doing with earlier. I'm going to wipe this a little bit. I'm going to get some just white on here. Maybe let it get a little tinted, a little bit, a scotch. It's not a bright white. Like I told you, there's going to be a lot of, you know, sort of white that we're using here. And on a very dry brush, I'm going to add just a little bit of this right here in the trunk coming across, because we're going to come back with a very strong highlight. And I'm just got to get this. What's real fun is when I get to come in with the black later and play with that. See, I've got a little brown on it. Just knock your white back a scotch, because you want your white, your white titanium white to really, really pop. I'm just adding.
Tomorrow's show with Lindsay should be interesting.
Oh, she's painting colored glass.
You know, tomorrow is Friday the 13th.
Okay, is she playing a joke on us that she's painting colored glass?
No, I don't think so.
She's painting colored glass.
No, like, I think she's actually painting. But tomorrow's Friday the 13th.
She's doing it in watercolor, and I think everybody, you should go by and see that. You really should. Me and the Love Train are going to come by, which is, that sounds really weird. That's just a bunch of my YouTube friends. We're going to go by and be supportive. So you can see us there. You'll catch a bunch of us there. But if you can go by and check out the color glass lesson, it's a really good art practice process to see. And as you know, I don't do the watercolor, and Lindsay does the watercolor.
Yeah, it'll be.
So that would be where you would get to see that.
Yeah, that's at 12:30 Eastern tomorrow.
There you go. I know where I'll be.
You know where you'll be.
Mm-hmm. I do.
You'll be sipping your little.
Yeah, that might actually be some no-mosa. All right, so I'm showing you this little filbert. He's a little smaller than a 1/2 inch, and he has a nice tight little edge, and so he's going to give me some good control. One trick I can do is I have to mist my paint on occasion, because my studio lights, y'all have no idea. are a little bit hot.
Okay, there's some bright lights in there.
Woo, and they're not LED.
There's a couple. Actually, that's not true. About 4 of them are now.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you for the 4 of LEDs that you have. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to lift out.
Oh, wait, you have to adjust the
Thank
camera.
you. I'm going to lift out a little bit of this, just a little bit. And then I'm going to, this is going to make you a little bit crazy, but just enjoy it. I'm going to lift a little line across my birch here to show that black line. You know how those little lines? I think John showed him in the intro of the mighty birch.
The mighty birch.
All the trees planted around my neighborhood. I got maple out the wazoo because we're in a historic town.
Yep.
But I don't have any birch. Got a lot of pine. Also, I can't lay down on the ground in Houston. There's fire ants.
Yes, there are fire ants.
Everywhere. So I'm making this sort of eye shape. See this little eye shape here? This is a, you know, a shape that your brain, your psychology will really associate with a birch tree. And I'm going to come up here maybe and see another little thing is flaking off. Make sure my camera is here, and I'm going to come across here. And this part is really fun to me. I did zebra stripes in my daughter's room because she wanted French zebra was the decor that she was going for.
Pink, black, and white zebra stripes.
Yeah, with zebras and Eiffel Towers and all those things, which meant Mama was custom making a lot of the room.
Glitter ceiling.
Glitter ceiling.
It's weird. Very 11-year-old kid.
Yeah. But see, that's what art is for. That's what crafting and creativity is for. See, I'm breaking up those lines and starting to create that feeling right there. Having fun. Having fun. And I am actually having fun, just so you know. I am actually having the fun.
I think everybody here's having fun.
Okay.
We've got about 80 people all hanging out here, having fun with us.
Wow. Making a tree.
We have to pull your camera up here just a little bit. We're losing you off the edge.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that you
There you
keep
go.
me on that because I really want people to be able to see what's happening, and so I really appreciate that. And I'm thinking maybe a small little eye here. And this is just sort of a thing where I'm like, what would I want here? And I sort of put them in. And if you painted something in that you didn't like, you just paint it out.
Yeah.
You actually have some control in your art space. I don't know what the rest of life is like, but here you are in charge. And you have value. And the things that you're doing are meaningful to this painting. Just to get all deep on you. And then what's interesting is art rarely gets thrown out.
It's true.
It is. I've tried. I've really tried to throw my art out. It makes John crazy.
It does. It makes everybody crazy.
Yeah, it's just, you know, sometimes I can't just over it and the thing has got to go. Or it made me mad, it annoys me, and it has to go. I'm more inclined to throw out my art when I was younger than as much now. But you can't do it. People come and get it. You put it at the curb, they just take it.
It's true. Oh, now I'm gonna, if you don't mind, right here, I'm gonna pull up the other image, just cause.
Yeah. So this is just what we're doing.
Just wanted to let them see. I mean, just. All right.
Yeah.
Get
So
some more
this
paint.
is just what we're doing.
Yep.
We're just doing this, and I might add a little bit of a eye here because it might end up being a branch, you know. Because we got to put a bunch of branches in here. And then you're just coming up. Now, as you're going up the tree,
You have to pull your camera up.
things are going to get smaller
There you go.
and lighter, right? Because this is like, again, you're implying that things are further away. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to lighten my brush stroke. You know, I'll lighten my brush stroke maybe.
Now this is a collaboration work, yeah?
Yeah, this is part of the Creative Arts collaboration. This is Thankful for Art. And like, if you just came in and you didn't hear the explanation in the beginning, you'll see in the title there's a word hashtag and think to yourself, why you hashtag, lady? Hashtag don't work on YouTube. But actually it creates a unique keyword, and if you put that into the search, you're going to see the artwork of a bunch of other fabulous YouTube art and crafters, every style, every medium, who interpreted the theme Thankful for Art and posted up videos for you to have a free video art festival. And this is an awesome video art festival because you don't have to leave your house, and there's no bugs, and the fair food isn't scary, and you can enjoy everything and just take what you love.
Now, Marissa was saying that she was just out there and saw 119 videos.
Woo!
So
119. I thought it was not that many, and that is awesome.
yeah.
You know, and this is also a good way. Sometimes when there's a new tuber, right? A new tuber. This is an artist who might be very accomplished in their own fine art practice, be very established, but they're new to YouTube, right? Or it could be like, I mean, it could be just anybody anywhere in their art journey. They've just started their journey on YouTube. They're impossible for you guys to find. YouTube will never show them to you. It makes them pay dues for like a year. But through these sort of collaborations, you could discover somebody that you didn't know about that you might love.
And we discover all sorts of new people that are kind of big.
Yeah,
like, and it's like YouTube's big, man.
Yeah, YouTube is ginormous.
There's
yes,
a lot out there.
There are people I had not seen before. I'm doing the 12 Days of Craftsmas. And so there's some other content creators that Lindsay's doing that with. And I had not, and I'm, as mentioned earlier, I like woodworking. I had not run into Steve Ramsey. Of course, I knew So Craftastic because a Threadbanger had pulled me into that.
Yeah.
And so discovered that. But I didn't know about him, and he's fantastic.
So,
and I just watch, just straight up. That's me. I'm just sort of dancing around looking for little spots I want to.
Yeah, you want to, you want to talk about what you've done there with those?
Yeah, so I'm going to show you all the way up the tree. We're going to go.
Okay. And so you just add those little black lines using the curve of the tree, huh?
Yeah, and I might just define this little top bit here with like a little black line, just trying to strengthen that out. And so I've got that there. All right, I'm doing that right there. I'm going to put this in my water. And I'm not going to use it. Either rinse it really well out in the sink or get a different brush, because black can be really hard to get out of a brush. Just water rinse out of a brush, so it usually takes soap to get out. And if you're going to go from black to painting yellows, rinse brush or get new brush, which is what I'm doing. Now I'm going to get into my very light orange here. So it's mostly yellow, and it's just got a little of this cad tint on it. I might need to put out a little white. Uh-oh. That is balanced precariously. That's almost comical.
We don't need to have a sudden
and
blackout.
You'll see me painting a lot of brands over here. You'll see me painting Golden or Matisse or Liquitex, and it's the same thing as the brushes. Stuff be on sale, and I buy it when it's cheap.
Yeah.
That's just what I do. And I replace, a tube at a time. So I'm going to come here, and like down here, I'm going to start lightening this up.
You want to pull your camera down just a touch?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
So I feel like I want this little space to have a very strong yellow tone. I messed with this for a while too, guys. I was like, what am I doing? At first it was like all purple, and then I went back in there, and I'm like, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? How do I want to tell this story? And that's what you've got to do. And then also, how can I simplify this story so we can all tell it? That's the other fun part of that. And you're just going to go through some paint on this. And that's cool. That is very cool. Anybody is a YouTuber and you want to know about the Creative Arts collaboration, go ahead and message me, and we can, all you got to do is have a YouTube channel where you make art or craft of any kind. You can be, a couple videos in, really the beginning of your art journey, or you could be a lot of videos in, and very far into your art journey, and I will help you join. And it's really, really wonderful to talk to other YouTubers.
Yeah.
It is. We all create better. We all do better when we talk to each other. The other day, Lindsay said something, and honestly, we've all been talking about it ever since, which is the rising tide raises all ships.
Sure, yeah.
Right? And I was thinking that's even true for our viewing community, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? When YouTubers talk to each other, when they inspire each other, when they share, the overall viewing experience gets better and better and better.
Absolutely.
And so everybody benefits. It benefits us to engage with each other and not be isolationist and inspire each other. And then you guys, feel like, you can just travel around and openly be like, I like these 5 channels so much. And that's okay. That is okay.
That's all right.
Yeah, you know what? Each person cannot be all things to all people.
Nope.
And I don't need to be all things to all people. I just got to be this thing really, really well. So you might find somebody that, does something else that you really like to do. And I like that this sort of open collaboration fosters an environment.
Yeah.
That says that's okay. Get a little more red if you've run out of any oranginess to your paint. And I'm just coming here, maybe up along the top here if I've got to move this up. So I'm still working my Jackie Chan, guys. I'm still feeling my Jackie Chan. And then I get the cease and desist letter that the Jackie Chan Drunken Monkey is
copyrighted.
Property of Jackie Chan. And then I had to take video down.
Wah, wah, wah.
Seriously. If we played any bars of anything from Star Wars, that would be happening,
Yeah,
I
it would.
promise you. Oh my goodness. They will come for you. Like Imperial Stormtroopers. They come in swarms.
That's okay.
I mean, I still love them.
Yeah.
They just protect their IP.
Fiercely.
In the way that a Tasmanian devil protects its
Oh,
young.
I'm gonna look at your hat real quick because I can see the frog. Everyone was commenting on how cute, how much your hat is matching the painting. I was just seeing the little frog poking up there, and I thought that was cute. So,
Yeah.
but they think that your hat matching the painting is really cool.
Oh, good. Because there's more of that coming. I like making these hats. Whenever I can get and go make one, I love it. I like my hats. I love getting the knit hats too. I am not a hooker.
Nope.
I'm not good at being a hooker. I just love saying hooker and having it mean crochet. Because apparently I'm also a 9-year-old boy. Not to slam 9-year-old boys anywhere. Just saying. I've got this nice light color and I'm just finding its spot. Where do you go, nice light color? At the end, you're going to come back in with some pure CAD, which is quite a pop and is a lot of fun, but we've just got to get these values and these tones worked out. And I'll come into the blue sometimes with these lighter colors. And remember, if you feel like you've painted out too much of your sky, you just mix it and pop it back in.
Yep.
It happens to everybody. It happens to all artists. It just is one of those things along the journey. I got a question today on the Heart Party page. A lady had taken on a very large, complicated art commission.
Yeah.
It was on a large canvas, and now she's in it, and she's just feeling overwhelmed by it. She wanted to know if I had ever had that happen to me. And John should be chuckling now. I've had that happen to me many, many, many times. I think it is very natural for us as artists to sometimes bite off more than we can chew. And we should. You know, maybe not like, one of the things I've learned in my art business over years is not to take on commissions that stress me out. But just personally as artists, every once in a while you should take on a piece that scares you
Yeah.
a little bit, that you'd struggle through, that's not easy to get through. Because it helps you grow your skills. And the trick to doing that when you're finding you're in an overwhelming project is to not take on the whole complete project, but take on a section. So like if this project were really challenging you, just worry about how you're curving these strokes here.
Yeah.
Don't think about the rest of this. This isn't really what you all have to think about. Just think about the piece that you're in. If you can break it down to one piece at a time, to smaller digestible chunks, a lot of times you can help find your way through a piece that's maybe giving you trouble.
Yeah.
Just a thought. Because I has them. I has thoughts.
It's true, you do.
He has to hear
all the
of them.
time.
He has to hear all of them. Even my Lisa Vanderpump related thoughts.
Yes.
I have many thoughts on Lisa Vanderpump,
But
who
that's
is real, in spite what John says. Lisa Vanderpump is real, and Pump is real, and Sir is real, and I can eat there someday. I can. I can. And I could even see Jax or Stassi or any of the people working there. I'm gonna run if I see Katie. I hope she doesn't ever get a job back there again. See, it's real for me. John thinks they're just actors that work there.
I'm gonna adjust your close-up camera.
He doesn't think that they're real.
Do
I have added some yellow to white.
Do I think that the reality TV show might be not completely real?
He
Is that what you're
doesn't
saying?
believe. It's like a kid not believing in Santa Claus. It's so wrong. Andy Cohen is the best man on earth, and he would never lie to us. He's a good boy. Having a whole thing here with that.
You've gone off the reservation.
When was I on there?
Don't know.
When was I on there? And is that okay to even, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been on.
I think you're fine.
No, I think I'm a problem. All right, so I'm still doing my Jackie Chan, guys. I'm still Jackie Channing it up. Right? Still working it and Jackie Channing it up. Trying to break up what I've got going on there. You know, trying to break it up. How's that working? Is it looking good, John?
I think it looks great.
Awesome. That's good to know. Because we've got to do branches last. And that's where I was like, Where is this going? Where is it happening? So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. This is fun for me. I like that what I get to do with my time is teach painting on YouTube. That has worked out really well.
Yeah. Basically, we come and hang out with everybody here.
Huh?
We come and hang out with everybody here.
We get to hang out with everybody. I love this new live thing because it is much less lonely than painting in the studio and filming in the studio by oneself.
You have to pull your camera there. Just
There we go.
there you go.
So see, I'm just still breaking up those spaces. Breaking them up. Breaking them up. Now, looking at these, by the way, when I was looking at a bunch of trees and how they were lit, there were two ways you could light your tree. You could have your tree be darker towards the trunk, and interestingly enough, you could have your tree be darker around the outer edges. That was also fascinating to me. The two ways that you could show that under lighting was really cool to me.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was to me. It may not actually be fundamentally truly interesting, but it was super interesting to me. I was like, look, you can do it that way. Is anybody else completely pumped by the artwork coming out of Russia right now?
You know, there was somebody just commenting earlier on that they had found some amazing artists from Russia.
They are just blowing it up on art. It's colorful, it's vibrant, it's emotive, it's commercial. It's like it hits all of the little things. I am really digging it, and you know, every time I think like I'm gonna get to go like, you know, go around and, see museums and go do that stuff, things get crazy in the world, then I'm like, well, also money keeps me home. If I had money, I could think I'd go, and then, people have to be crazy, and I'm like, well, I can't travel right now. But I would love to go see the artwork coming out of Russia.
Yeah.
It's bananas. It's bananas. It was like when in the 90s in Korea, there were a bunch of painting houses that came up, Liwan being my favorite. And there was some just beautiful artwork going on. Just straight up gorgeous. There was this huge, huge, huge renaissance in Korea in art in the 90s. I mean, I'm sure it's still going on, but it had just come back, and there's just some fantastic, beautiful artwork happening.
Are you still using your filbert?
I'm still just trucking along on my little filbert.
And that's
how it looks. It's kind of getting a little soppy there up into the ferrule.
And that's how it makes those rounded sort of...
Yeah, that's why I get that sort of soft, roundy
Gotcha.
thing happening. As I'm just sort of trucking along. This is really meditative for me. That's how the Bob Ross effect happens. Because you're just standing here and you're painting, and then you're like, happy little tree. Oh yeah, I'm teaching.
So, Christina was asking if she could use a deerfoot stippler to use.
You can. Good use of a word. Deerfoot stippler, which I actually just learned from Angela Anderson. Yes, and Jerry sells those. If anybody needs one. Jerry's Artorama, who is not a sponsor in any way. I just have one close to me, and my mom works there teaching art, and we just happen to know them. Probably should be sucking up to Texas Art Supply. But the problem with Texas Art Supply is it'd be far from me. It's a really cool art store. It's just far.
Yeah.
Whereas Jerry's is like just up a toll road. And it has my friend Daniel Elliott there, and he's super sweet. And so that's just how I feel about that. So I just got a little stronger in the yellow as I was coming down here, but I might grab some more white. I'm noticing that, and just pull some white in here and put some dimensionality into this. And now that I've got all this kind of worked out, I'm going to grab some Just Cad. I know, seems crazy, but it's what
Just
we're
some
doing.
Cad. Where are you putting it?
And I'm going to just start dabbing the Just Cad, and you're going to see it really pop.
Oh yeah.
Just here and there in this tree. Looking for these patterns that I'm not making.
So you're
Trying to create pleasant shapes and fields of shapes with my CAD that are, nice to look at. Not everywhere, just places. Just places. John has family in Kansas and Missouri.
I do.
And they have fall there on another level.
Yes. Trees turn colors.
They really do. It's just like, and every time, like when we've gone there, I'm like, I want to live here in this weird small town with these Victorian houses.
Until,
like, how will we eat? And I'm like, I don't know, but now I know. YouTube.
And you feel that way until the snow comes.
You feel that way until the snow comes.
And then you go, get me out.
I don't know. I like the snow a little better than you do. I liked it in Canada. You didn't like the snow in Canada. We were in Vancouver, which is like snow light. It's not like Ottawa, which is like Snowmageddon. It's like Vancouver. They don't even have weather. They're like, oh, it's raining. I'm like, no, this is misting. This is. I'm gonna do an impression of rain in Vancouver.
Yeah.
They're like, it's pouring down. Sorry, I'm not trying to start nothing with Vancouver because I loved it. I'm just saying it doesn't rain hard. Yeah, no. It's like. It's like if you lived in a biodome and really lovely scientists were planning weather for you. It's kind of how it is. Like it's like in Vancouver, it's like so it's like misty for a second, and then just when you're thinking you're kind of annoyed at the mist, it stops. as if it knows how you felt. And then it's like snowy, 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 snowy. And just when you're thinking this is cold and wet and I'm not digging it, snow goes away. Just when you're over sledding.
Huh.
But you have enough days to sled.
Yeah,
I don't know that John felt that.
I remember that, you know, it's nice to live in places where it snows when you don't have to travel in the snow. But as soon as you have to go anywhere in a car in the snow sucks. That's my feeling.
That was his feeling. I heard his feeling a lot. He was not as pro snow.
No. But
all right. Branches.
all right.
Branches.
How are we going to get those branches
I'm
in?
going to do a detail brush.
A detail brush.
Detail brush
That's
is
a
a
big
brush that
detail.
comes to a point.
But that's a big detail brush.
Well, but I mean, it's kind of a big canvas.
Oh, yeah.
And this has a very sharp point, so I'm going to be able to get a very light line. You might need to paint with your smallest detail brush to get the result that you want.
And everyone was asking, how does that swamp pop taste?
Oh my goodness, that is, all right, I can, again, not sponsored. So the praline does give it a nice note, and it's just like a richer cream soda. It's like they caramelize the cream soda just a titch.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's quite nice. And it's not heavy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like a cream soda would be
Well,
kind of light.
I don't know. It's, you know, it's got this whole thing. It's, you know, it's all supposed to be all natural and nice flavored. It's supposed to use premium sugar cane.
Is it not tasty?
It's tasty.
Well, there you go.
No, sometimes the sugar sodas are not tasty.
Yeah, it's true.
If you did not like cream soda, though, I wouldn't say you'd like this. You would be like, not liking this at all. So maybe I'm going to, I'm trying to decide where I want to pull branch. Maybe I want to pull one here. Yeah, I'll pull. Sometimes you have to think about, where do I want to branch? And all right, I'm going to pull it here.
All right.
This is what's going to happen. I'm just pulling it here.
All right, just do it.
Just doing it.
All right.
This is like, I'm like you guys. Like sometimes I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. I'm just doing a thing. And then I'm like, okay. And so that's how I do it. I wander up. My pressure gets ever light. I try to break path.
Let me show them the other painting so they can kind of see what we're doing.
Yeah. Right. I'm trying to break path. I'm going to make sure that where this connects to the tree, it's a little thicker, and then it's getting thinner as it gets out into the tree. And yeah, we're going to come back with like a gray highlight after we get these little suckers in, but we got to get them in. Now I'm going to break a little trunk off here, a little twiggly bit. All right, little twiggly bits. I like to paint my twiggly bits. If you've been painting with me a little while, you're like, oh no, she's on about the twiggly bits again. But I like my little twiggly bits. And that's what I'm just trying to do, is paint my little twiggly bits. Lots of little ways that you can get these little things in. You're just trying to tell the story of this.
So I'm curious, do you have a deerfoot brush?
Do I have a deerfoot stippler? No, I do not have a deerfoot stippler. I would love one.
Interesting.
And I've got to go get one. Because that's a really good one to show clouds. And
Oh, yeah.
I'm meaning to grab one so our cloud experience would be a little bit easier.
We'll have to, it's something to do.
Yeah. Maybe we'll. All right, I'm going to put another, I'm going to be very brave here. I'm going to come like there's a branch coming out of these little leaves. Light little branches. Well, I have to come back with some gray, right? And we knock that back. Give it a highlight. And then we're going to say like maybe here, maybe here. There's another little branch, and it's going to come out kind of inward. It's going to be a little bit inward. If you have a birch tree, feel free to lay down and get a picture.
Yep.
If you don't have fire ants, which clearly where Lindsay lives, she does not.
So could you use an old makeup brush for a deerfoot? or for a paintbrush in general? I mean,
you know, you'd have to go by makeup brush because it's, you know, it's bristles that are bound into a ferrule, and you can chew a stick and paint with it.
That's true.
I mean, let's be realistic. You can chew a stick. Artists used to make their brushes. They'd go like attack furry animals and in plans and make brushes.
Yeah, Stephanie was just using toothpicks and
yeah, Q-tips.
Q-tips. So
yeah, you experiment with it. Experiment. Here's the trick: paint with it and see if it does things that you like.
It's true.
You know, that is really what it's about in your studio, because you could go buy a $200 brush that you hate.
Yeah, there is no terms of service with your paint. You can use your fingers, your toes, a paintbrush,
Just
a stick.
don't eat it.
Yeah, don't eat it.
Don't eat CAD or any paint in general.
Yeah.
They haven't really thought this stuff out, trust me. So that's the thing. I'm just using very light pressure. If you need to get better flow on a line, what you're looking for is the fluidity of your paint. How well it dispenses off the brush onto the canvas. And a lot of time that's about adding water to the paint. If you just can't get it, Artist Loft just came out with these fluids.
Ooh.
Right here. I'm not using that to do it, but you could. It's already fluid.
Cool.
And so it will give you a nice fluid thing. Though I have gotten 2 of these that were super chunky and curdled. Get curdled paint, take it back. Don't put up with it. Don't put up with curdled paint.
No.
No. So I'm just
like the
looking to see
branches
what
in
kind of
there.
little branches we can put places. As I'm getting up here into the tree, I'm going to even kind of get a little smaller and lighter and mellower with these. Oh, I got a little crazy there. And if I need to, I'll rest my hand. I'll rest my hand. And I might, as I get up to the top, even start graying this out. Don't want them so dark up here at the top.
You have to pull your camera up there just a touch.
Yeah, I do. And you guys really need to see me do this, because I'm going to do little tiny twiggles. It's twiggle time. It's twiggle time. So twiggles are little bits of branch. And you'll notice I just break it out. I break it out. I break it out. So what am I saying when I'm saying I break it out? We'll go to the palette cam here. So I make a little line, and it has a little weird crookedy journey like this. And then I say, oh no, your little friend's got to take a little journey over here. And then I said, no, this little friend. Break it out. Break it out. That's all I'm really asking you to do, is that bit of ridiculousness. And you can totally handle it. Just putting in these weird little branches, saying there's some branches happening here. Over the wood and to grandmother's house we go. Just having a good time. Don't get stressed out. Don't get twisted in it. Just don't even worry about it. There is no, like, juror. There's no judge just sitting up in your house just waiting to get you. Unless there is, and then don't listen to that person, because they suck. Even if you love them, in that moment, be just like, yeah, your honesty not working for me. Go step. All right? Go step. A critique is a wonderful thing if you are a professional artist talking to professional artists.
Yes.
It's a fabulous thing. I love critiques. With my peers. Not necessarily well-meaning relatives.
Yeah.
Another time critiques are lovely and appropriate is when you have studied and you're starting to become an intermediate artist, or even a beginner advanced artist, and you have a really good art teacher that you trust. A critique can then be very useful to grow your practice. But at the beginning of your journey, the best thing for you is not critique, it's just paint more. Paint. You'll know when you really are starting to need that extra kind of like insight. Like when I'm on a painting and I get to take it to my peers and I'm like, I'm trying to do these things and I'm trying to change the world with my art. What do you see? Sometimes they'll see stuff I don't see, and that's super useful, and it doesn't hurt me and it doesn't feel personal. So that's an okay, safe time or space for me to have a critique. See how I'm making sure the branches are thicker the back and becoming thinner out here.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Angela's popped by to say hello.
Hi, Angela. Are you feeling better? Everybody send light and love and well-being to Angela. That she feels better. She's been under the weather, but she said earlier today that she was feeling better.
That's good.
And so I was super happy to hear that. It's important to feel better. So I feel like I'm pulling this little branch off the tree here. Maybe off of one of these little eyes.
You put your close-up camera down there just a touch. And then
all right, I'm going to close up camera down just a touch. I like that you always are like, hey, pull it down there. So hopefully you guys, because sometimes you guys will be like, you'll put out this call to like your friends and family, critiques anyone, and you're really at the beginning of your art journey, and I'm always like, no, don't. Paint 20 more, 30 more. Don't worry about the critique. Advice is different. You can always ask for advice from, again, a well-meaning, considerate, caring instructor. Could say to you something like, hey, try a Deerfoot stippler. It might help your cloud techniques. That's a very different experience than your clouds suck and look like weird Snicker bars. That's not helpful to you in your art process. And that's most critiques you will get. They're not informed.
Yep.
They're just critical, and they'll just tell you that you suck. And that just is not going to help you in any way. So I'm going to put a little tree branch here, and his little things are going to come out. And so now that we've got that, add a little white. Are we all hanging in? I know it's been a journey.
Oh, everyone's loving it.
Oh, thank goodness. I'm so glad. So we're going to come along the top of this little tree here.
Oh, come back in there. Wait.
Sorry, thank you. So we're down here at this little branch, and he needs a highlight. Hems does. Hems needs a highlight. And you can pull this down a little bit to give it some texture. I'm kind of just flicking this down a little bit with my little brush just to soften it. Come into this little highlight here. See how that creates a little break there? It's helpful. Just moving up a little bit, messing with John.
Where are you going?
I'm apparently very, very hard to predict. I'm ready for running the bulls. Nobody can see where I'm going. Probably still not. No, you probably need to be in shape for running the bulls. I imagine that is a requirement for that activity. Plus, I don't actually like that. I don't even know why I said that. I don't want to go to that. I want to go have sangria on the beach.
Yeah. Go
see the Dali Museum. The Dali exhibit is here in Houston right now, John.
We will have to go check it out.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I think tomorrow, Saturday, we're supposed to go meet our friend Matt Adams.
Yep.
Who is an art expert and collector, and we're going to go do Second Saturday in Houston and get a look at galleries. And I might Periscope it. I might share with you what that looks like.
And didn't Dali and Disney do a collaboration?
They did, and actually I learned that from our community because it was shared for Underdog, I think. And so I just like went and looked at it. Dali and Walt Disney did an animation together, and it was brilliant. Just saying.
Yep.
But if you happen to be in Spain, you've got to see Gaudi's. All of Gaudi's architectures we're seeing, and then you've got to go see whatever Salvador. You got to go to the Dali Museum, which looks like this weird round shape with chickens on the outside. Chickens like chicken butts. And I knocked myself out, clean out in the Dali Museum. Because they really clean their glass, and they don't have safety spaces, and so you can't see it, and you go to lean in to look at a piece, and you just knock yourself out.
Thunk.
Thunk.
You left a forehead print on there, didn't you?
Oh, it was bad. It was like, no pictures of me today.
That's great.
Mom's like so funny in Spain. She doesn't like food adventures. The fish fries were the best thing ever. She thought they were French fries. And she's eating them. And then she caught one that had eyeballs. And she starts screaming and flinging the fish fries.
They were good up until that moment.
They were really good until she saw the eyeballs. And then this lady's dog was like, I don't know why it's raining food, but this is awesome. So this little creature's like scrambling getting the food. Because in Europe, people bring their dogs to eat, so.
You should pull your camera up a bit more.
I should.
So we see some more of that highlight going in. Oh, there we go.
We're just adding these little highlights. You can see it kind of through one here. We're just adding these little highlights to these branches, and it helps them be dimensional. Guess what, guys? We're like pretty much, we did it. We're almost ready for the I did it dance. I wasn't really sure. I really hope you guys got this. I hope you know, it came out for you. I hope it did. Oh, you know what I should do tomorrow?
What's that?
I should paint along with Lindsay on the watercolor. I have watercolor.
Be fun.
It would actually be really fun. It would be really cool. I've been meaning to do that more and more and more.
We should see about getting some periscope feeds set up.
That's actually a kind of cool idea. Tandem scoping. John's been periscoping.
I had a little bit here and there.
With his truck. All right, so the last thing is, and this is the last thing that we have to do.
What do we got to do? And
we get, get a brush with a good edge. You could get a filbert or you could get a bright, but what you want is a nice crisp edge for you. Get it wet, and you're going to want just white paint. Bright, bright white, nothing in it. Just really sort of load it up. Right? And I'm going to come down here. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this. I'm going to do the light dance up the tree. So I'm going to have to probably even get, I want to paint out what I've got, more white to do this. I'm going to make this little run of light that's dancing up this tree. And it's just a little bit like the reflections I've taught you in past episodes. But the trick is to do a staggeredy zigzag. You see that starting to create the highlight up the tree? John, can you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He's like, I'm running the equipment, sweetheart.
Actually, and sometimes I just get spaced out watching you.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes I'm just like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, you're talking to me. Yeah, I got to answer.
I really hear you're cold now. I'm feeling really bad for you.
I'm okay. Although after this, I am going to bed.
Are you going to bed after this? I'm so
so.
sorry,
Oh,
sweetheart.
no, we're okay. I'm having a good time. I was like, we may still do some after show, too. Who knows?
Oh! You're like, there will be an after show. We don't always have to have an after show. It's okay. You can lay down and rest. It's all right. So we're going to dance up here. We're going to keep dancing, doing this tango. And it's this sort of random zigzag. And I'm still curving these lines, though, as I'm going up. Mm-hmm. And you can kind of see how this suddenly pops the three-dimensional space of the tree.
Oh, yeah. There were multiple comments already on how it just quite literally, quote, pops.
It does. That's the whole thing in art. To go pop, 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 like Ruby Rod from The Fifth Element.
Yes.
And that's a random Dorkington mention.
Dude, Ruby Rod was the man.
Huh?
Ruby Rod was the man.
He was the man. He was the man. And I love that Jean-Paul Gaultier designed all the costuming for that.
Yes, it's one of my favorite things.
They put that together so well, the whole thing. So as I'm going up the tree, my little zigzags will get smaller, right? And more dashy to say that this little dappling light, and maybe I'll take a little, I won't do it here for a second, maybe this is a little more in shadow. So pulling it up. Taking a trip up the tree. And you guys do not have to put out as much paint as I put out. I do it so you can see it. And, I lose some, right? And there is apparently a way to put paint back in the tube.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, you could. And if you needed to, you could. Honestly, the Michael Harding oil at $600 for a tube of a particular color, I might figure out how to get that paint back in the tube.
Well, oil, you just leave on the palette. It's not like it's going to dry out real fast.
This is really kind of true.
So it's not like you're worried there. It's a curing. But with acrylic, I don't know that it'd be a good idea to put it back in the tube anyway.
So there we go. We've just got our little dance.
Looks so cool.
And we did it. We painted a birch tree. Woo! It's a little bit maybe chubby. I don't know. beautiful.
I think it looks great. Let me pull that back down out of there. Oh, man. Let me, no, I'll compare that. Just hold it right there. We can go.
Yeah, I think I had
We nailed it.
more complex curve on the other one, but it's okay.
That looks great.
We did it.
That's pretty fantastic.
We did it with 2 snaps, 2.
All right.
I had friends teach me that.
So today we'll forego the after show.
Yeah, we're gonna let you lay down and rest. But we love you guys. We love the after show, and we hope you're good, and we hope you're artful. I hope I'll see you tomorrow. Please go check out the rest of the CAC's offerings. You know, hashtag thankful for art. Go see what's there. Go have a nice free video art festival. If you're, I'm on Periscope Saturday.
Yep.
Doing stuff with, and I don't ever know what Matt Adams is going to say. That could be anything.
And then tomorrow we've got the show with
we're going to go by and bug
Lindsay. Yeah, at 12:30. Cool.
Which everything will be iCarded, so later when this information is not upcoming pertinent information,
will be good.
You can find it if for the replay. You guys have a beautiful, beautiful weekend, and I want to see you at the easel really soon. Bye bye.
Thank you for showing.